This is the bookmarker we have been using to hold our chapters.
From Tracy's Diamond Painting World. It's so interesting that you pointed that out.
From Tracy's Diamond Painting World. It's a magnet, and so you put the little magnet on one page and the tail connects on the other page. At any rate, I am so excited for me and all you guys because we are now coming to the very last final chapter, chapter 14 of Peter Benchley's Jaws, which we've all been reading for, I don't know, I guess 14 weeks now. So without any further ado, let's hit it. When he drove up to the dock, Quint was waiting for him. A tall, impassive figure whose yellow oilskins shone under the dark sky. He was sharpening a harpoon dart on a carborundum stone. "I almost called you," Brody said as he pulled up on his slicker. "What does this weather mean?" "Nothing," said Quint. "It'll let up after a while. Or even if it doesn't, it don't matter. He'll be there." Brody looked up at the scudding clouds. Gloomy enough. "Fitting," said Quint, and he hopped aboard the boat. "Is it just us?" "Just us. Are you expecting somebody else?" "No, but I thought you liked an extra pair of hands." "Now you know this fish as well as any man, and more hands will make no difference now. Besides, it's nobody else's business." Brody stepped from the dock onto the transom, was about to jump down to the deck when he noticed a canvas tarpaulin covering something in a corner. "What's that?" he said, pointing. "Sheep." Quint turned the ignition key. The engine coughed once, caught, and then began to chug evenly. "What for?" Brody stepped down onto the dock. "You're going to sacrifice it?" Quint barked a brief, grim laugh. "Might at that. Nah, it's bait. Give him a little breakfast before we have at him. Undo my stern line." He walked forward and cast off the bow and spring line. As Brody reached for the stern line, he heard a car engine. A pair of headlights sped along the road, and there was a squeal of rubber as the car stopped at the end of the pier. A man jumped out of the car and ran towards the Orca. It was the Times reporter, Bill Whitman. "I almost missed you." "What do you want?" Brody asked. "Well, I want to come along. Or rather, I've been ordered to come along." "Tough shit," said Quint. "I don't know who you are, but nobody's coming along. Brody, cast off that stern line." "Why not?" said Whitman. "I won't get in the way. Maybe I can help. Look, man, this is news. If you're going to catch that fish, I want to be there." "Fuck yourself," said Quint. "I'll charter a boat and follow you." Quint laughed. "Go ahead. See if you can find someone foolish enough to take you out. Then try to find us. It's a big ocean." "Throw the line, Brody." Brody tossed the stern line onto the dock. Quint pushed the throttle forward, and the boat eased out of the slip. Brody looked back and saw Whitman walking down the pier toward his car. The water off Montauk was rough, for the wind from the southeast now, was at odds with the tide. The boat lurched through the waves, its bow pounding down and casting a mantle of spray. The dead sheep bounced in the stern. When they reached the open sea, heading southwest, their motion was eased. The rain had slackened to a drizzle, and each moment there were fewer whitecaps tumbling from the top of the waves. They had been around the point only 15 minutes or so when Quint pulled back on the throttle and slowed the engine. Brody looked toward the shore. In the growing light, he could see the water tower clearly, a black point rising from the gray strip of land. The lighthouse beacon still shone. "We're not out as far as we usually go," Brody observed. "Nope. We can't be more than a couple miles offshore." "Just about. So why are you stopping?" "I got a feeling." Quint pointed to the left, to a cluster of lights farther down the shore. "That's Amity there." "So?" I don't think he'll be so far out today. I think he'll be somewhere between here and Amity." "Why?" "Like I said, it's a feeling. There's not always a why to these things. 2 days in a row, we found him further out. Or he found us. I don't get it, Quint. For a man who says there's no such thing as a smart fish, you're making this one out to be a genius." "I wouldn't go that far." Brody bristled at Quint's sly, enigmatic tone. "What kind of game are you playing?" "No game. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And we try somewhere else tomorrow." Brody half hoped Quint would be wrong, that there would be a day's reprieve. Or later today, but I don't think we'll have to wait that long. Quint cut the engine, went to the stern, lifted a bucket of chum onto the transom, and ordered Brody, "Start chumming," he said as he handed Brody the ladle. He uncovered the sheep, tied a rope around its neck, and lay it on the gunwale. He slashed its stomach and flung the animal overboard, letting it drift 20 feet from the boat before securing the rope to an aft cleat. Then he went forward, unlashed 2 barrels, and carried them and their coils of ropes and harpoon darts back to the stern. He set the barrels on each side of the transom, each next to its own rope, and he slipped one dart onto the wooden throwing shaft. "Okay, now let's see how long it takes." The sky had lightened to full gray daylight, and in ones and twos, the lights on the shore flicked off. The stench of the mess Brody was ladling overboard made his stomach turn, and he wished he had eaten something, anything, before he left home. Quint sat on the flying bridge, watching the rhythms of the sea. Brody's butt was sore from sitting on the hard transom, and his arm was growing weary from the dipping and emptying of the ladle. So he stood up, stretched, and facing off the stern, tried a new scooping motion with the ladle. Suddenly, he saw the monstrous head of the fish, not 5 feet away, so close he could reach over and touch it with the ladle. Black eyes staring at him, silver gray snout pointing at him, gaping jaw grinning at him. "Oh my God," Brody said, wondering in his shock how long the fish had been there before he had stood up and turned around. "There he is!" Quint was down the ladder and at the stern in an instant. As he jumped onto the transom, the fish's head slipped back into the water and a second later slammed into the transom. The jaws closed on the wood and the head shook violently from side to side. Brody grabbed the cleat and held on, unable to look away from the eyes. The boat shuddered and jerked each time the fish moved its head. Quint slipped and fell to his knees on the transom. The fish let go and dropped beneath the surface, and the boat lay still again. "He was waiting for us!" yelled Brody. "I know," said Quint. "How did he?" "It don't matter. We got him now." "We got him? Did you see what he did to the boat?" "Give it a mighty good shake, didn't he?" The rope holding the sheep tightened, shook for a moment, and then it went slack. Quint stood up, picked up the harpoon. He took the sheep. It'll be a minute before he comes back. "Well, how come he didn't take the sheep first?" "He got no manners," Quint cackled. "Come on, you motherfucker. Come and get your due." Brody saw fever in Quint's face, a heat that lit up his dark eyes, an intensity that drew his lips back from his teeth in a crooked smile, an anticipation that strummed the sinews in his neck and whitened his knuckles. The boat shuddered again, and there was a dull, hollow thump. "What's he doing?" Brody asked. Quint leaned over the side and shouted, "Come out from under there, you cocksucker! Where are your guts? You'll not sink me before I get you." "What do you mean, sink us?" said Brody, concerned. "What's he doing?" "He's trying to chew a hole in the bottom of the boat." He's trying to chew a hole in the bottom of the fucking boat. That's what. Look in the bilge. Come out, you godforsaken son of a bitch. Quint raised high his harpoon. Brody knelt and raised the hatch cover over the engine room. He peered into the dark, oily hole. There was water in the bilges, but there always was, and he saw no new hole to which water could pour. "Looks okay to me," he said. "Thank God." The dorsal fin and tail surfaced 10 yards to the right of the stern and began to move again toward the boat. "There you come," said Quint, cooing. "There you come." He stood, legs spread, left hand on his hip, right hand extended to the sky, grasping the harpoon. When the fish was a few feet from the boat and headed straight on, Quint cast his iron. The harpoon struck the fish in front of the dorsal fin, and then the fish hit the boat, knocking the stern sideways and sending Quint tumbling backward. His head struck the footrest of the fighting chair, and a trickle of blood ran down his neck. He jumped to his feet and cried, I gotcha! I gotcha, you miserable prick! The rope attached to the iron dart snaked overboard as the fish sounded. And when it reached the end, the barrel popped off the transom, fell into the water, and vanished. "Oh my God, he took it down with him," said Brody. "Not for long. He'll be back, and we'll throw another into him, and another, and another, until he quits. And then he's ours." Quint leaned on the transom, watching the water. Quint's confidence was contagious, and Brody now felt ebullient, gleeful, relieved. It was a kind of freedom, a freedom from the mist of death. He yelled, "Hot shit!" Then he noticed the blood running down Quint's neck, and he said, "Your head's bleeding. Get another barrel. Bring it back here, and don't fuck up the coil. I want it to go over, smooth as cream." Brody ran forward, unlashed the barrel, slipped the coiled rope over his arm, and carried the gear towards Quint. "There he comes," said Quint, pointing to the left. The barrel came to the surface and bobbed in the water. Quint pulled the string attached to the wooden shaft and brought it aboard. He fixed the shaft to the new dart and raised the harpoon above his head. "He's coming up." The fish broke water a few yards from the boat. Like a rocket lifting off, snout, jaw, pectoral fins rose straight from the water. Then the smoke-white belly, pelvic fin, and huge salami-like claspers. "I see your cock, you bastard!" cried Quint, and he threw a second iron, leaning his shoulder and back into the throw. The iron hit the fish in the belly, just as the great body began to fall forward. The belly smacked the water with a thunderous boom, sending a blinding fall of spray over the boat. "He's done," said Quint, as the second rope uncoiled and tumbled overboard. The boat lurched once and again, and there was the distant sound of crunching. "Attack me, will ya?" said Quint. "You'll take no man with you, you uppity fuck." Quint ran forward and started the engine. He pushed the throttle forward, and the boat moved away from the bobbing barrels. "Has he done any damage?" Brody asked. "Some. We're riding a little heavy aft. You probably poked a hole in us. It's nothing to worry about. We'll pump her out." "That's it then?" Brody said happily. "What's what? The fish is as good as dead?" "Not quite. Look." Following the boat, keeping pace, were the two red wooden barrels. They did not bob. Dragged by the great force of the fish, each cut through the water, pushing a wave before it and leaving a wake behind it. "He's chasing us?" said Brody. Quint just nodded. "Why? He can't still think we're food." "No. He means to make a fight of it." For the first time, Brody saw a frown of disquiet on Quint's face. It was not fear, nor true alarm, but rather a look of uneasy concern, as if, in a game, the rules had been changed without warning, or The stakes of the game had been raised. Seeing the change in Quint's mood, Brody was afraid. "Have you ever had a fish do this before?" he asked Quint. "Not like this, no. I've had him attack the boat, like I told you, but most times, once you get an iron in them, they stop fighting you and fight against the thing that's sticking in them." Brody looked astern. The boat was moving at a moderate speed, turning this way and that in response to Quint's random turning of the wheel. Always, the barrels kept up with them. "Fuck it," said Quint. "If it's a fight he wants, it's a fight he'll get." He throttled down to idling speed, and he jumped down from the flying bridge and up onto the transom. He picked up the harpoon. Excitement had returned to his face. "Okay, shit-eater, come and get it." The barrels kept coming, plowing through the water, 30 yards away, then 25, then 20. Brody saw the flat plane of gray pass along the starboard side of the ship, 6 feet beneath the surface. "He's here," he cried, "heading forward." "Shit," cursing his misjudgment of the length of the ropes. He detached the harpoon dart from the shaft, snapped the twine that held the shaft to a cleat, hopped down from the transom and ran forward. When he reached the bow of the ship, he went down and tied the twine to a forward cleat, unlashed the barrel, and slipped its dart onto the shaft. He stood at the end of the pulpit, harpoon raised. The fish had already passed out of range. The tail surfaced 20 feet in front of the boat. The two barrels bumped into the stern almost simultaneously. They bounced once, and then they rolled off the stern, one on each side, and slid down the sides of the boat. 30 yards in front of the boat, the fish turned. The head raised out of the water, then dipped back in. The tail, standing like a sail, began to thrash back and forth. "Here he comes," said Quint. Brody raced up the ladder to the flying bridge. Just as he got there, he saw Quint draw his right arm back and rise up onto his tiptoes. The fish hit the bow head on with a noise like a muffled explosion. Quint cast his iron. It struck the fish atop the head, over the right eye, and it held fast. The rope fed slowly overboard as the fish backed off. "Perfect," said Quint. "Got him in the head that time." There were 3 barrels in the water now, and they skated across the surface. Then they disappeared. "God damn," said Quint. "That's no normal fish that can sound with 3 irons in him and 3 barrels to hold him up." The boat trembled, seeming to rise up, and then dropped back. The barrels popped up. 2 on one side of the boat, 1 on the other. Then they submerged again. A few seconds later, they reappeared 20 yards from the boat. "Go below," said Quint, as he readied another harpoon. "See if that prick done us any dirt up forward." Brody swung down into the cabin. It was dry. He pulled back the threadbare carpet, saw a hatch, and opened it. A stream of water was flowing aft beneath the floor of the cabin. "We're sinking," he told himself, and the memories of his childhood nightmares leaped into his mind. He went topside and said to Quint, It doesn't look good. There's a lot of water under the cabin floor. I better go take a look. Here. Quinn handed Brody the harpoon. If he comes back while I'm below, stick this in him for good measure. He walked aft and went below. Brody stood on the pulpit, holding the harpoon, and he looked at the floating barrels. They lay practically still in the water, twitching now and then as the fish moved about below. How do you die? Brody said silently to the fish. He heard an electric motor start. No sweat, said Quint, walking forward. He took the harpoon from Brody. He banged us up all right, but the pump should take care of it. We'll be able to tow him in. Brody dried his palms on the seat of his pants. Are you really going to tow him in? Oh, I am, when he dies. And when will that be? When he's ready. And until then, we wait. Brody looked at his watch. It was 8:30. For 3 hours, they waited, tracking the barrels as they moved, ever more slowly, on a random path across the surface of the sea. At first, they would disappear every 10 or 15 minutes, resurfacing a few dozen yards away. But then their submergences grew rarer until by 11, they had not gone under for nearly an hour. By 11:30, the barrels were wallowing in the water. The rain had stopped, and the wind had subsided to a comfortable breeze. The sky was an unbroken sheet of gray. Well, what do you think? Brody asked. Is he dead? I doubt it. But he may be close enough to it for us to throw a rope around his tail and drag him till he drowns. Quint took a coil of rope from one of the barrels in the bow. He tied one end to an aft cleat. The other end tied into a noose. At the foot of the gin pole was an electric winch. Quint switched it on, and to make sure it was working, then turned it off again. He gunned the engine and moved the boat toward the barrels. He drove slowly, cautiously, prepared to veer away if the fish attacked. But the barrels lay still. Quint oiled the engine when he came alongside the barrels. He reached overboard with a gaff, snagged a rope, and pulled the barrel aboard. He tried to untie the rope from the barrel, but the knot had been soaked and strained. So he took his knife from the sheath at his belt and he cut the rope. He stabbed the knife into the gunwale, feeling his left hand to hold the rope, his right to shove the barrel to the deck. He then climbed onto the gunwale, ran the rope through a pulley at the top of the gin pole and down the pole to the winch. He took a few turns around the winch and then flipped the starter switch. As soon as the slack in the rope was taken up, the boat heeled hard to the starboard side, dragged down by the weight of the fish. Can that winch handle him? Brody had asked. Seems to be. It'd never haul him out of the water, but I bet it'll bring him up to us. The winch was turning slowly, humming, taking a full turn every 3 or 4 seconds. The rope quivered under the strain, scattering drops of water onto Quint's shirt. Suddenly, the rope started coming too fast. It fouled on the winch, coiling in snarls. The boat snapped upright. "Rope break?" Brody asked. "Shit, no," said Quint. And now Brody saw fear in his face. "The son of a bitch is coming up!" He dashed to the controls and threw the engine into forward. But it was too late. The fish broke water right beside the boat with a great rushing whoosh of noise. It rose vertically, and in an instant of horror, Brody gasped at the size of the body, towering overhead. It blocked out the light. The pectoral fins hovered like wings, stiff and straight, and as the fish fell forward, they seemed to be reaching out to Brody. The fish landed on the stern of the boat with a shattering crash, driving the boat beneath the waves. Water poured in over the transom. In seconds, Quint and Brody were standing in water up to their hips. The fish lay there, its jaw not 3 feet from Brody's chest. The body twitched, and in the black eye, as big as a baseball, Brody thought he saw his own image reflected. "God damn your black soul!" screamed Quint. "You sunk my boat!" A barrel floated into the cockpit, the rope writhing like a gathering of worms. Quint grabbed the harpoon dart at the end of the rope and with his hand plunged it into the soft white belly of the fish. Blood poured from the wound and bathed Quint's hands. The boat was sinking. The stern was completely submerged and the bow was rising. The fish rolled off the stern and slid beneath the waves. The rope attached to the dart Quint had stuck into the fish followed. Suddenly, Quint lost his footing and fell backward into the water. "The knife!" he cried, lifting his leg above the surface, and Brody saw the rope coiled around Quint's foot. Brody looked to the starboard gunwale. The knife was there, embedded in the wood. He lunged for it, wrenched it free, and turned back, strolling to run in the deepening water. He could not move fast enough. He watched in helpless terror as Quint, reaching toward him with grasping fingers, eyes wide and pleading, was pulled slowly down into the dark water. For a moment, there was silence, except for the sucking sound of the boat slipping gradually down. The water was up to Brody's shoulders, and he clung desperately to the gin pole. A seat cushion popped to the surface next to him, and Brody grabbed it. He recalled his patrolman, Hendricks. "They'd hold you up all right if you were an 8-year-old boy." Brody saw the tail and dorsal fin break the surface 20 yards away. The tail waved once left, once right, and the dorsal fin moved closer. "Get away, damn you!" Brody yelled. The fish kept coming, barely moving, closing in. The barrels and skeins of rope trailed behind. The gin pole went under, so Brody let go of it. He tried to kick over to the bow of the boat, which is almost vertical now. Before he could reach it, the bow raised even higher, and then quickly and soundlessly slid beneath the surface. Brody clutched the cushion, and he found that by holding it in front of him, his forearms across it, and by kicking constantly, he could stay afloat without exhausting himself. The fish came closer. It was only a few feet away, and Brody could see the conical snout. He screamed an ejaculation of hopelessness and closed his eyes, waiting for the agony he could not imagine. Nothing happened. He opened his eyes. The fish was nearly touching him, only a foot or two away, but it had stopped. And then, as Brody watched, the steel gray body began to recede downward into the gloom. It seemed to fall away, an apparition evanescing into darkness. Brody put his face into the water and he opened his eyes. Through the stinging salt water mist, he saw the fish sink in a slow and graceful spiral. Trailing behind it, the body of Quint, arms out to the sides, head thrown back, mouth open in mute protest. The fish faded from view, but kept from sinking into the deep by the bobbing barrels. It stopped somewhere beyond the reach of light, and Quint's body hung suspended, a shadow twirling slowly in the twilight. Brody watched until his lungs ached for air. Then he raised his head, cleared his eyes, and sighted in the distance the black point of the water tower. Then he began to kick towards the shore. The end. Woo! That was, what a great book.
I'm holding my breath.
What a great book.
I am literally holding my breath.
I mean, again, I already want to start.
I have to, before you start, I turned the page and there was about the author.
What is it?
Peter Benchley was born into a family of authors and raised in a Manhattan brownstone.
Yeah, he's money.
His father, Nathaniel, is known for his fine, funny short stories published in the New Yorker. Wonder if he had a Ziggy. His grandfather, Robert, has been described as being unsurpassed in the ingenious technique of verbal humor and the most versatile humorist in America. Do you want to read the next part?
No, keep going.
Keep going.
After graduating from Harvard University, Benchley took a year off and traveled around the world. The result of the trip was Time and a Ticket, a nonfiction book published the year I was born, 1964. He later worked as a reporter for the Washington Post, as a radio TV editor for Newsweek, and as a speechwriter during Lyndon Johnson's administration. Mr. Benchley, after this period of steady employment, became a freelancer and took on assignments that included a stint as a TV commentator with Newsweek broadcast service and with WPIX TV in New York. He has recently finished work on the screenplay of Jaws, which was shot off the coast of Australia and at Martha's Vineyard, and is collaborating on an original screenplay for Paramount, and has started another novel.
Yes, you know what? I was like, is this fish just going to die? Like, is it just going to die with these barrels in it?
I think, again, I like to do a meta-analysis of the author, story, and so, like, what a great writer Benchley was.
Oh, God, he's a great writer.
And so, I think he deliberately had the fish die. Oh, what's going on?
Oh, my battery power is down to 5%. Hey guys, we're in the car because I got in the mood for pizza. I've been in the mood for pizza since yesterday, watching David Portnoy eat pizza. That's the El Presidente of Barstool Sports, and I said let's just do the commentary in the car because For me, it's not a very long commentary.
She wanted to go do the commentary outside for a walk. It's about 1,000 degrees outside.
Okay. And then we were going to do a walk and talk, and then we were going to go get pizza, but we're going to take you down 9th Street. We're going to take you to Angelo's.
No, we can't go down 9th Street.
We can't go down 9th Street, so I can't take you down 9th Street. We've been there already when we went to Renee's. But we're going to go to Angelo's, Angelo is like one of the hardest working people I've ever known in my life. Him and his wife. They make an excellent pizza. And they just didn't they just partner with Bradley Cooper? They got a place called Danny and Coops now. Danny and Coops. Anyway, not important. The pizza's delicious.
They also make very good cheesesteaks.
Excellent cheesesteaks. So,
and the other thing you should know is, what's the wife?
I can't remember her name right now.
Okay. Anyway, the wife is, I think it's the wife, is family with Sarcone's Bakery. So Sarcone's Bakery makes their bread for them, which they're right down the street. They're on the same block.
Danny used to make bread. Well, Sarcone's does not make their bread.
Yes, it does.
He does not. Danny makes it in the morning in the pizzeria. Don't say, listen, I'm done arguing with this one because he's got a head like a brick wall. I'm going to give you video proof of Danny.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No,
Danny
we're going to go in. I'm going to ask them, where do you get your bread from?
Go
and they're going to say
ahead.
Sarcone's.
Go ahead. Okay. Go ahead. He's always wrong. He never gets tired of being wrong. Danny's been making bread for Sarcone's. He makes it inside the pizzeria now every freaking morning. He makes his own bread in the same pizza oven that my pizza's coming out of. Anyway,
no, he doesn't.
Before I feed him to a shark. Okay, he's going to be dangling like Quint in the abyss.
She's wrong, people.
What? And then he'll come in real sweet, like, oh, you were right.
Oh, if I'm wrong, I admit it. You're the one.
You're
who
always
can't
wrong.
admit you're wrong.
You're always wrong.
Yeah, I'm always wrong.
I'm going to stop this video. I'm stopping the video right now to show him Danny making pizza inside the restaurant.
Sure. Which is
hey, John,
for him to make
the bread. Do me a favor. Just be quiet, okay? Because you're going to be wrong. Be quiet and stop telling restaurateurs what they can handle and not handle. It's important to him he makes his own bread in the store. He makes it in the store. Okay? And I'm going to show you video evidence and everybody watching.
Okay. Listen,
all right,
if I'm wrong, I will admit I'm wrong.
Shut it, John. You are wrong.
The epic denouement, in conclusion, Peter Benchley's wonderful novel, Jaws, chapter 14. Really, really great chapter. I want to analyze the whole entire work. And I want to just do this and say, very interesting. The first and last chapter of this book were. Because, all the chapters in between 1 and 14.
That's where 12 Monkeys was filmed. It's now a performing arts school.
Right. Getting back to the novel. I like the idea of the author's decision to make the first and last chapter of the book quite short. I just think about that, and I'm like, I'm trying to write my first novel, and I kind of think I want to try to use that method because I think it's tantamount to me as a musician and a performer. I always know the very first song you do and the last song you do, they're important because this first song is very important because
Can we get back to the book? Can we get back to the book, please?
Yeah, sure, honey, go ahead.
Can we get back to the book? What did you think of the ending? That you're going on another, tangent about something else.
What did I think of the end? I thought it was resolved pretty well. I think that Benchley did what all good authors do, which is, it wasn't all neatly tied up in a bow. It was open-ended in the sense that, here's Chief Brody holding on to using a seat, what do they call it? Seat, whatever. What's the word I'm looking for?
Seat cushion. Because in the movie they blew up the shark, and so
he's using a seat cushion as a flotation device, and he's pedaling with his feet towards the shore. And
what did you think about the two men that were eventually killed? Like
Well, I think that
I found the opening very
well,
like Brody going on the boat and being like, oh, did we need like an extra hand because like we lost Hooper? Like it was kind of weird not having Hooper on the boat.
No, by that time, I would say Quint was obsessed with killing this animal, and he didn't even want anybody else to help because it was his own personal obsession to see this big stupid fish die by his hand. And I think that, like I said earlier, this book, I think, clearly makes Martin Brody, police chief, the protagonist of the book. I think the book basically centers around him, and he does survive. Well, he was still living last we checked. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's holding on to the seat cushion to keep him afloat while he pedals towards shore, which is a mile or two away, and there's no guarantee he's going to make it back to shore. I mean, but leaves that up to.
Oh, there's no guarantee, but I just felt like that there was more of a reason. It really wasn't that different though from the movie, because didn't Quint get something caught? Because the fish did land on the stern.
Yeah. Yes. In the movie. Quint's. So in the book, they're saying that
your pizza's done and this is
nonsense. No, wait a minute. I don't have to wait in line to pick up my pizza, do I?
I don't know.
Listen, look at this. Look at this shit show that there's no fucking place to pull over. I'm pulling
because
over.
They went and did all this with these bars and everything else. They went and did. This is Columbus Park. That's where my son used to play baseball as a little boy. Very, very cute little park. This is the end of the 9th Street Market where we are right now. Should I get out with you?
No, stay here, please.
All right. But if you look down the street where he's talking about Sarcone's Bakery, you could see maybe a little bit of the sign right there. So Danny used to make the bread in there, but he don't make it in there anymore. They got their own. They make bread for the restaurants all over the place. They ain't got Danny's bread in there. Danny's making his own bread in here. And when I tell you, one of the hardest working guys in the business, being in the pizza business, when this guy opened this location, you have to go on his Instagram. You couldn't believe the hurdles that he was jumping to get this place open. And then it was one thing after another. The oven wouldn't fit in. They had to take the window apart. What is he doing? Just go by everybody. You're a Philadelphian. These are tourists. See, I would have walked right through the front door. I would have said, my pizza's ready. I gotta go. I should have left him with the camera. They're not all waiting for a pickup. What is he doing? You just go to the front. That's why you call, because you're not waiting for an order. But if you go on Danny's Instagram, it's Angelo's Pizza. His kids were tiny. He used to take them in with them, and I used to watch his Instagram every morning because he would get up early in the morning. He would be in here. He would be like, what fucking fire am I going to put out today? Yeah, it was just like that. You just felt like you were cheering this guy on. Like, what next? Until there was an actual fire that he had to, he did. I believe he did have a fire in there, but. His attitude and his personality, and just keep going forward, and just very positive, and just telling people, hey, listen, if you want to do this, there's going to be you got to just have a personality like him. You got to have the passion and the love for it. And then what he did was, above the restaurant, he went and put like a private area where you could go up there and you could rent the place. And so like a lot of guys were getting together, they were watching the Super Bowl up there, and I think that's how Bradley Cooper came here. And he was like, oh yeah, Super Bowl upstairs. He just fell in love with the pizza. You can't help but fall in love with Danny. He's great. And the rest is history. Now there's Danny and Coops, and I think Danny and Coops is actually in Manhattan. I don't know. I've been out of Manhattan since before the pandemic. I don't know what the heck is going on over there anymore, but a great guy. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. And so this is the end of the 9th Street Market. And then if I get out and I look that way, past the park, it's going to lead you into Center City, into the center of the city. But this is nothing. This is nothing compared to. This is an off day. This is a Sunday in the summer. This is an off day, and I don't think that he's built any more in that pizzeria. I don't think he's built it out anymore because they really need all the room for prep, for making pizza, for making dough, for making bread, and I really don't think that there's a lot of room. I really think it's just, but people are walking out with bags of, pizza and stuff, and yep. There he is. There he is in the middle of it all. So I don't know, I guess I'll keep you entertained while he is trying to get a pizza. I guarantee you they don't have no time to answer any questions when he goes in. But I can't wait to put the video up, if I haven't already, of the guys coming in the morning and making the bread, which is amazing. It just is. That's what I mean. The dedication is unbelievable. But reading the book, I think that this might be the only chapter that I fully read along with him. The last chapter. I put the book, held my breath a few times in the book, not knowing how much of the movie were they going to, I'm wondering, he's in this lane. No, they can't turn this way. Okay, I'm wondering, I was wondering with the book, it just seems like the cars were driving too close to my car, and he just went and abandoned this car here because they went and put all these, I don't know what these poles are. I don't know what they are supposed to. Oh, bike lanes. Oh, well, that's interesting. Is that a bike lane? No, that's not a bike lane. They're going to be digging there. I'm saying, oh, bike lane. That's why they put them up there, but that's not it. I lost him. He's almost to the door. I would have walked in. I would have feigned like, oh, I don't know. But I was wondering, how much are they going to hold to the book? Because I just had that feeling that Quint was not going to survive. I was like, all right, well, Hooper died, and really only one guy died on the boat in the movie. So Hooper died. They just kind of mixed things up. But maybe Quint is going, but it didn't seem like that was going to happen, because for as much as he called this fish a dumb fish, and even Brody said in the chapter, you're giving this, I almost said this guy, you're giving this fish a lot of credit for being almost like a genius. But I don't know how I want to weigh that out. Like some kind of like, was it a fish justice? So that they both went down, that man versus beast, and one or the other was not they both were the winner. They both killed each other. I don't know how I want to weigh this out. I don't know. It's so crazy. I don't know. But I did find it odd that Hooper was not on the boat. And I will say I had my hand covered as he was reading, because I didn't want to read ahead. I didn't even want my eyes to skim down and look at another word. And I do think that the way, the visual in my mind of the shark being this close and Brody closing his eyes because, like, this is it. I'm not even going to be able to, so many things go through your mind, I'm sure, all the previous deaths of everybody that he didn't witness personally, but other than Hooper, but like all the deaths that he knew in his mind, like, now my number's up with this fish, he's gonna kill me too. And then just to have nothing happen. I probably would have even been afraid to look. I would have been like, the fish is waiting for me to look so then he could just that he could just like, bite me and eat me with me looking at him. But to the fish then to just completely die and float, spiral down to the depth, to have Brody stick his head underwater and look and watch this fish going to its depths, and that whole visual of Quint with his arms wide open, floating and still protesting. Now, I also bought in the bookstore The Deep by Peter Benchley, and I think that was his follow-up book. I don't even know what that one's about. I've never seen it. The back of the cover has everyone that's in the movie. The movie's already been made at this point. And there was something else interesting that I want to read from the Jaws book. Is he coming out? Oh, here he comes. Oh, I got to get a picture of this. So everybody in line was there to pick up?
That's right. In the front of the line, I'm next up, and she said, I'm here picking up. Like, there's a line all the way to the corner. What do you mean you're here picking up? I don't walk to the head of the line and say I'm here to pick up. All right, let's do it.
Go ahead.
Don't you want one?
Go ahead.
Where's it go by?
You want to give it the El Presidente Barstool Sport rating? One bite, everybody knows the rules.
No rules. Okay. The pizza sauce is the epitome of freshness. It tastes like it was made a half hour ago.
Oh, did you find out about the bread?
No, I didn't find out about the bread.
Oh, okay.
There's no way that guy's baking in there.
Okay. He's a head, like, I don't know what, cement head. That's what I'm going to call him. Go ahead.
Listen,
Go ahead.
I can't help you that you're laboring under the delusion that this guy's making his own bread.
Go ahead. I got it all on video.
He
Go ahead.
married a Sarcone.
I know he did. I've known him before he's been here.
Okay. Maybe
All
he
right.
was. Maybe
all
he
right.
was
Tell me
making
about the pizza and stop talking.
How am I supposed to do that?
Yeah, you'll find a way. See this part? This is the part that you go for when you're a pizza connoisseur. You go for the bubble that's been busted. Go ahead. Tell me about it.
The crust is perfect.
Yep.
It was not necessary to tell them to make it well done because they know how to make a pizza. The crust is just right. Mm-hmm. The edges look great. Mm-hmm. Again, my only complaint.
You gotta do the
not
fold.
so much a complaint
Fold.
as it is a personal preference.
Nice little flop.
I like everything I enjoy. If it's hot, I like it real hot, right out of the oven. If it's cold, I like it ice cold.
Whole milk mozzarella, fresh basil,
Oh yeah, we want her.
saucy, nice bright tomatoes.
Yeah, the tomatoes are unbelievable. That's a good buy.
We're taking a pizza break.
Huh?
We're taking a pizza break.
Okay, we are, as you can see, back at home, and this is probably the last of the commentary for our reading of the novel Jaws. I would just like to say that overall, tremendous novel, great writing by Peter Benchley, and I would say that I do think we're going to do a screening of the film so that we can then have a commentary about, you know, the liberties that Steven Spielberg took with the source material. Because again, the film was definitely changed quite a bit from the book. But yeah, again, Benchley, you know, Harvard-educated fellow, you know, grew up in a brownstone in Manhattan, and obviously very affluent, wealthy family, and he really had his finger on the pulse of, I would say, the differences between the culture of the small town people who live year round in a shore town versus the culture of, the people who come and spend every summer there, like, typically you're talking wealthy people from Manhattan, Upper East Side, etc., and they just flock to, Martha's Vineyard or Amity or whatever, and they're definitely, I think Benchley really did a great job of highlighting the two cultures and how they intersect. And do you have anything else to add, Elisa?
Yeah. I'm pizzaed out. I'm still in a quest for what I want, though. I love Angelo's, but I'm still in a quest for, like, I think I just want my good old-fashioned, super thin, New York style, very cheesy, floppy pizza. That's what I'm in the mood for.
Yeah, but where? Who do you think has that?
Don't know. Go to New York. You know when you got a hankering for something
City
and
pizza?
nothing else will do? Nah, they can't come close. Anyway, I think that, I was thinking about it when John was talking. I really wish that there were some loose ends tied up. I think like with the mayor, like you never really knew like what happened with the mob.
Right, but I think that story arc...
It died out.
That story arc was finished. I mean,
Yeah.
I think what's happening in your mind is
I get too
you're
analytical.
thinking about the film,
Yeah.
and so now you're thinking...
No, I'm not. I can't stand when he tells me what I'm thinking about. And no, I'm just very analytical, so I just feel like, other than Larry disappearing, we never really know what happens to him and his wife. He just disappears. He's broke. I got the feeling that he was gonna meet his demise by his own hand.
The character Larry's purpose in the novel was, in my opinion, simply to be another suitor to Ellen, expressing, "Oh, you would have made a great wife," and beep and bop.
You're right. Probably, yeah, you're right. That's the other side of it. And I don't know. Like I told everybody what I thought. I thought the ending was phenomenal. I wish that they would have put that ending in the movie. I thought that was so much better than having Brody, blow up the shark.
Well,
With I know we're talking about movie.
Hollywood.
We're talking about Hollywood, but I thought that ending was so much better than.
In fact, it's probably one of the most famous lines ever uttered in cinematic history. Roy Schneider as Chief Martin Brody saying, "Smile, you son of a bitch," and then he pulls the trigger.
And that sounds more like Quint than it does Brody.
Quint was dead because the shark ate him.
And then the other thing was, I made a note that when he said, when the shark actually did in the book and in the movie, as he was throwing the chum in, and he turned around and the shark was right there,
boat.
was changed
that
from.
Was ad-libbed. He ad-libbed that line.
Was changed from "Oh God," because he says "Oh God" in the book.
Yeah.
And then he ad-libbed, "We're going to need a bigger boat."
That's what he said. And so, interesting. Can I talk about the difference between the book and the movie, or is that going to be a problem?
No, go ahead.
So, it's interesting. Matt Hooper actually survives in the film, right? He doesn't die.
No, he comes up from the bottom after he blows the shark up. Remember?
No.
Okay. We're going to have to revert back to another video.
Why?
The movie ends with Roy Schneider, Brody, blowing the shark up with the canister in his mouth. Okay? And then we have nobody but Brody in the water, and then all of a sudden you see bubbles and you're thinking, "Oh my God, he had company." The shark. And it's Richard Dreyfuss comes up
Really?
from the deep. Yes.
I don't remember that ending.
Hooper comes up from the deep, and then they got a piece of plank from the boat, and they're both kicking back to shore.
Oh, okay. So, thank you for remembering that, because I can't remember shit. I have short-term memory loss. But
That's long term.
it's short-term. So
remembering something from 1974 is short term,
that's long-term.
but that was the movie, John. That's long term.
Yeah, but short-term is trying to remember the minute details of a story.
I'm not
or a film.
I'm remembering the movie that I only saw one time in the 70s. That's long
Okay,
term.
let's just concede that she is the queen, and that I don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't know if it's the heat, but he's on my nerves so bad today. He's on my nerves so bad today. That's long-term memory when you're remembering things that happened 50 years ago. That's not short-term. Short-term is not remembering what you ate. Pizza.
Can I finish what I was saying now?
Am I right or wrong?
You're right. You're always right. So,
Learn it. Live it. Get it tattooed on your body.
So it's interesting that Spielberg took quite a bit of liberties with the source material because, you know, in this story that we just all read, you know, Matt Hooper cheating with Ellen Brody is a big story arc and an important one, and they just wrote that out of it. And the other thing is, like, in the book, Hooper, irrational Hooper, is eaten by the shark because he decided to go down in that cage, and he survives in the film. And Quint, who is eaten by the shark, is also eaten by the shark in the film. So that's the one thing they didn't mess with. Quint dies, but why Spielberg elected to let Matt Hooper live, I don't know. If you want me to try and make an assertion or a speculation, I would say because they changed the story arcs and they deleted the Hooper Ellen Brody affair, and kind of, I think that necessarily resulted in a lessening of the friction between the characters of Hooper and Brody. And so I don't know, they figure, well, the shark gets the obsessed captain of the ship, but there's no need to kill, the oceanographer because, just because the actual author wrote it that way. I don't know. I got nothing for you with that.
Yep. So, I think that we can close it out.
Yeah, but aren't we going to figure out a way for all of us to watch the film together and then do commentary after that?
Yeah.
All right. When are we going to do that?
Anyway. When? We're just getting done. This is what I mean. We're getting done one thing. He wants to know what the next thing is.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. This was great. What's up next is The Bad Seed. Oh, here.
Ooh.
Oh, wait. There is one more thing that I wanted to do here. And I found it very interesting because I was reading my issue here of the book. And, all the endorsements to read the book came from so many different newspapers, and like the New York Times and the Chicago Times and the Washington Times. They all had their 2 pennies in this. But I found it really interesting when I was the Philadelphia Inquirer. Remember that? The New York Post, the Library Journal, the Great White Shark. This was like a little. It was before the first page, right, of the title. It says the Great White Death is what it's called. The white death shark is the fiercest and most fearsome predator on Earth, growing to a length of more than 30 feet, always on the prowl and always hungry. It will attack anything that appears even remotely edible. The stomach contents of one such shark caught off the coast of Australia, where I'm learning that there are a lot of great white sharks, included a pair of gum boots, a keg of roofing nails, and half a horse. And that was written by Robert F. Jones of the Washington Post. Peter Benchley's Jaws, a novel of relentless terror. And then I turn the page. I'm actually holding my tripod. Here's something else that I thought was interesting too. My publication, my book was the 18th printing, but up on the top it says, this low-priced Bantam book has been completely reset in a typeface designed for easy reading and was printed from new plates. It contains the complete text of the original hardcover edition and in all caps. Not one word has been omitted. So Joel's, it was published by Doubleday Company, and it went into like a printing during the year of 1974. It was published February of 1974, and it went into printing every month. It went into printing, a second printing in February 74, a third March 74, April 74, June 74, July, 2 of them, August, September, Book of the Month Club, it just 1975, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 printings in 1975. I'm sorry, 18 printings in 1975. I mean, it just like every month it was selling out. Every month everybody had this in their hand, I would imagine. I found that really fascinating. And, I wanted to share that with you guys. And it was published simultaneously in the United States and in Canada. So I'm going to put some links of some things that I found interesting. I'll put the shark tracker. That one video, if I can find it, because it was actually in the last chapter of how the shark came up out of the water vertically. That just blew my mind. And there was one other thing with the shark. And then, of course, I'm going to put Angelo's Pizza making their own bread in the morning. Thanks for joining us. It's been a blast. See you at the movies. Bye. I have to finish my video. I'm editing. But I have to add to the edit what my husband just learned about Danny's bread. And now he said, well, now that I know that, I think I want to go get a sandwich.
Are you actually filming it?
I'm filming it. Because, of course I'm going to film that you were wrong.
See the camera, please.
Yeah, what did Danny say on the video? Your bread is never less than what?
2 hours.
2 hours old. Why?
Does she ever shut up, this woman?
Why?
She can't even let me make an
Why
apology.
did he say?
She never shuts up.
He said, that's what I do all day long. I make bread.
Yeah, you know what I do all day long? I walk around with a sack of sorries handing them out. The word sorry has never come out of Elisa's mouth.
That's right. Well, I'm sorry you never heard that. Guys.
Touche.
No?
No.
Okay. But I was right.
You were right. I was wrong.
That's right.
It's not a big deal.
Oh, I know it. Yeah, but you're adamant. The best video of Danny making bread. He
lost.
said, you know what? You just want to keep ascertaining that this man makes bread.
I didn't say that.
You did coming down the steps when you guys
did
sleep.
not.
You
First of all, I do not make fun of people who butcher the English
What
language.
did I say?
In fact, hold on. I'm going to tell you a new one that you haven't heard yet. Now, I'm not going to say the guy's name. I don't want to embarrass him. But I'll just say that guy that I went to school with that we passed the other day.
Oh, it could be anybody. But hey, we passed 100 people that you know.
Why are you going to make me identify this person?
Well, I didn't
Down
know.
the street.
Who?
It was a day ago. You can't remember from one day
John,
ago.
we leave the house, you meet 50 people. I still don't. What is that? Churning butter?
No.
Why?
Think tomato.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now you know what I'm talking about?
Maybe, but go ahead.
What do you mean maybe?
Not the actual guy making it, but the actual
The other guy. The guy went to school.
I would have never guessed this guy.
I only went to school with one person, Knuckles. You know who I'm talking about now?
You only went to school with one person.
Oh, Jesus Christ in heaven. What did you think? I went to school with FC? He's like 50 years older than me.
All right, move out of the way.
Or did you think I went to school with the two girls?
All right.
Okay. So anyway, you're going to love this story. So this guy, he was going out with this girl who I think worked with Stella.
Yeah.
And so they...
Stella, you can roll right under the bus.
Oh, listen. Stella's not the butt of this joke.
Okay.
So they went out to like some big fancy event for the company.
Yeah.
And of course, everybody was dressed very well. And so my buddy over here, he puts a suit on to take his girlfriend to the event. And obviously they're sitting at the same table. he announces very loudly, "Look at me. I look like an expiring lawyer." He was trying to say aspiring lawyers, the word he really wanted to use if he
Maybe
knew how to speak English.
Is that true?
It's true, and like Stella and John literally wanted to slink under the table. They were so embarrassed.
And expiring. Well, what did I? You came down the steps and you said you're
I
still
did not
ascertaining.
say what you said.
You said you're still ascertaining that this man makes bread every day in his place.
No, I didn't say that.
What did you say?
I don't know what I said,
That's
but
what
I didn't
you said.
say that.
That's
That
what you
don't
said.
make sense.
Yeah, neither do you. That's what he said. I said I don't believe it. He's still going. He's still going. That Danny don't make his own
Let me tell you
bread.
something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Kitchen it.
Go ahead. I got it right on video.
Yeah, I don't care.
All right, we're done.
No, we're not.
We're done.
We have-
John, do me a favor. Give me the deep. While we're still rolling this video that never wants to end here. Will you give me the book?
I'd rather see Jacqueline Bisset. In the deep.
So this is Benchley's. I think this was his second one, right after Jaws. Look, on a perfect day in Bermuda, a honeymooning couple dives into the offshore reefs. They are looking for a wreck of a sunken ship. What they find is surprising. It lures them into a mysterious and increasingly dangerous encounter, a relentless struggle for survival. All right. So now, this is the deep. And then what I did was I opened the book. Okay, a terrifying new novel by the author of Jaws, and you know what it said? Better than Jaws. More cleverly plotted, ever escalating shocks. The pacing is perfect and the finish is frightening. We'll keep readers turning pages. And guess what? It's the same amount of, it's less pages than Jaws. This is 290. Jaws was 309.
See if the first and last chapter are very short. I'm very curious
The
to know
deep.
if you use that as a
Lou Gossett is in here. Before he was Lou Gossett Jr., it just says Lou Gossett.
before he was Lou Gossett Jr.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Jacqueline Bisset, Nick
Are you
Nolte.
sure? Are you sure it wasn't his father?
It says Lou Gossett. I don't know. That looks like Lou Gossett. That looks
You
like
sure?
Lou Gossett Jr.
How do you know it wasn't his father?
I don't know. Does that? All right.
Maybe it's Lou Gossett Sr.
No, that looks like Lou Gossett. Anyway, here we go. All the characters in this book are fictitious. Always reminds me of my father. All right, so chapter 1. John,
What?
it's 7 pages.
And then how was the last chapter? How many pages?
The last chapter. You gotta let me look at the last chapter, and I might not want to read this book. Wait a
I'm
minute.
just curious if that's his style. Make
Okay.
my first and last chapters very short. Because it sounds like it is, especially, you know.
Now, this is about the author. This is a different about the author. Peter Benchley has been writing for a living since he was 15. Did we learn that the last time? All right. Let's see here.
How many pages?
Shut up. 290.
Elisa,
John, I'm working backwards. Will you stop it?
you stop.
290. Uh, 269 to 290.
It's 30 pages. That's not a short chapter.
That's not 30 pages.
269 is 270. Oh, it's 20 pages.
Okay, he went to Drexel. Everybody loves
That's
it. Loves
That's right.
everybody.
That's university.
I went to Drexel. I studied
Study
physics.
physics at Drexel.
The same thing. Well, the last chapter of Jaws was 15 pages,
Yeah.
and 290 is only a paragraph.
Okay. So it's 19 pages.
All right,
That-
that's it. We've picked Peter Benchley's brain. Now John is torturing Foofy.
You almost bit me.
I hope he does bite you. Thank you again. It's been a long Sunday full of pizza.
Bye, everybody.
Pizza
Bye, everybody, from the Lockhorns.
and Foofy and Snoopy.
Oh,
Good
Snoopy.
night.
Where's Woodstock? Wait till Woodstock comes on.
All right.
Woodstock always comes on.
He usually comes with a nest, and he makes a nest out of Snoopy's body. He brings a bunch of leaves. I don't think it's happening.
What's that?
He's floating. He's waving. Good night.